I'm Kaushik. I'm an engineering manager at Razorpay. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, how we built a loan origination system. And to talk more about that, we have Sujan. Hey, welcome. Why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling us more about what do you do?
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Sujan. I'm a staff engineer at Razorpay. I work as part of the Razorpay Capital team. Capital is the lending arm of Razorpay. Our vision is to help businesses amplify their growth by making it easier for them to get access to credit, use, and manage it well. We primarily focus on internet-first businesses in India, and we have offerings based on credit lines and revolving credit currently.
Hey, so great to know that Razorpay is also doing lending. Would like to understand what are some of the common challenges in a modern lending industry.
You see from beginning, like traditional loan origination process, right? It is quite complex. So from the time of application, when someone applies for a loan till the time of disbursal, the entire journey can take days. It could involve offline steps. It could involve back and forth related to data quality issues or negotiations. And importantly, you need to keep this journey in a balanced manner. If it is too long, then you would have drop-offs. If it is too short, then you may end up not collecting all the required data points, and eventually, like you would have issues with your risk evaluations. So even we were not an exception to this. We also had similar challenges. When we were scaling up, we also had issues related to unoptimized application journeys, where like members from different internal functions had to collaborate to get an application through. We had requirement for assistance to the customer. All those things we were also facing at the moment.
Definitely can understand these points, but would definitely want to understand like how has tech been a game changer in this, and what role is like engineering playing to solve this?
In my opinion, for tech, there are a lot of opportunities to address these issues. For instance, with tech, you could get visibility into your workflows. If you have that visibility, it is easier to identify those inefficiencies and then address them. And also with automation, I guess tech can play a really good role in that. With automation, you can significantly amplify your scalability of your entire journey. For example, like you could do automation of risk evaluations. You could automate your data validation techniques and all.
If I remember correctly, like in the early days of tech, it was just about digitizing your manual workflows. But I see like a great potential for us to change how we do the application process itself. So next, would like to understand what does scaling like really mean for you? I'm sure it's not just number of applications, right? What are like scaling challenges for you?
Obviously, it is not just about like how many applications we process. It's also about like how fast are we able to provide a new credit offering, like launch a new credit offering. How easy is it for us to showcase our offerings or like launch our offerings on a newer market segment or on newer channels. And also it's about how extensible your system is. For instance, extensibility could mean ability to plug and play components easily. These components could be like external data providers, or it could be verification systems, or it could be even lenders as well. Also, since we have we work in a highly regulated ecosystem, it's quite important that like we have this visibility, the clear visibility into our workflows, primarily in the compliance and audit perspective. So, for instance, like having a role-based access control in your workflows, or having ACL around data access, all this will be important.
Okay, so you mentioned workflow quite a few times, right? So I'm guessing you use some kind of workflow orchestration platform. So did you build from scratch, or you use something and build on top of that? Can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, sure. Our loan origination process is also on top of a workflow orchestration solution. There were many options explored, like when we were actually looking for one. So our primary challenge was around having this ability to interconnect different workflows we had. So we knew that like we need a solution to manage these workflows, and then that's when we started looking for workflow orchestration solution. There were like debates around like either building this in-house or buying a SaaS solution around it. But there were challenges around like SaaS platforms. Like one is cost, like cost implications would be there. And the other one is flexibility. So we anticipated that like with the SaaS platform, we would always have challenges integrating it closely or like deeply in our ecosystem. Like whatever the intelligence and infra we already had, there would be challenges in utilizing that to the fullest extent.
Yeah.
For instance, we had risk engines. We already in-house risk engines. We had authentication and RBAC mechanisms. Those would have been like really difficult to integrate with. Yeah, that's why we went ahead with the open source solution. Yeah.
Sure. So, yeah, no, so I understand, like, did you use something like Cadence or AWS Step Functions, or tell me what were the options that you elected and what did you choose on finally?
Yeah, we did explore Cadence. Yeah, it's an open source solution from Uber. And we explored AWS Step Functions as well. But like we finalized on a different solution. It's Camunda Platform 8. It's again another open source solution from Camunda. It is a complete solution around workflow orchestration. It has workflow engine. It has complementing tools around managing your entire workflow orchestration process.
Okay. So yeah, great. Tell me more about Camunda and how is it better than other options that you elected?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, Camunda, it is a complete platform or an ecosystem around workflow orchestration. So there is ZB. ZB is the workflow and decision engine of Camunda platform. It interfaces with the workflow specification by actually using BPMN.
Okay.
So BPMN stands for Business Process Modeling Notation. It's the standard for business process modeling. So you can define your or design your workflows as BPMN diagrams and feed it into ZB. Okay. That is the other component, and there is task list component. Task list lets you help like automate user tasks, like where you can assign tasks to people and then let them execute. Like wherever there are human interactions, you can use task list. And there is operate. Operate works like a back office console. It lets you analyze issues, address them like as a back office console, like AWS console, I would say.
Sure.
And there is optimize also. Optimize lets you get insights into your workflows. Like for example, doing a heat map analysis, identifying bottlenecks, and then eventually you can improve from the output of that.
Sure.
Coming to how it is different from other options we explored, I must say there were some key characteristics we were looking for in our solution. So one, we had a requirement for a lot of asynchronous workload. Like most of our application journey, though there are like automated steps, there were like many steps where manual interaction was required as well. So we were looking for something which supported asynchronous workload well. We were looking for an extensible solution. We had like high plans for building on top of this workflow orchestration solution. So things like notifications, assignments, and all.
Okay.
That was another criteria. And in terms of visibility perspective, we also wanted our solution to have a DSL.
Okay.
So DSL is domain specific language. It's about like how do you define your workflows. Okay. So in case of Camunda has a BPMN as DSL. So it's quite easy and elegant to define your workflows. You just draw your workflow as a diagram and then just feed it into ZB.
Oh, nice. Okay. Those were a lot of many things, right? Like, can you break it down and give one example of like a very complex scenario in your workflow? And how would you solve this in the framework that you have chosen to use?
Yeah, sure. Let me think of an example. Yeah, in our application journey, right? So there are many stages where some of our like internal team members will have to take some decision and then move the application forward or like in a different direction.
Okay.
An example could be you're in a stage where some data validation needs to happen, like some application form data needs to be validated or a document needs to be validated. And then the internal team member, like an operations team member, would either like mark it as good and then move it forward, or like move it back to the customer for corrections.
Okay.
For orchestrating things like this, right? You also need to make sure that wherever such a decision is taken, you need to ensure the state of the system as well as the decision taken are in sync. Like if they're out of sync, then the application would be in a limbo state. To model something like this, we were actually thinking of having a validation logic for every stage movement.
Okay.
So that's how like this is one of the examples how it can be modeled with Camunda. Okay. So we can use event-based gateways and the message events to handle branching, like I'm talking about the decision part of it.
Mhm.
And you can use service tasks, which can generalize how validations are executed, and
Yeah.
then that could be plugged in anywhere, like
Sure.
it could be used as well. And you could use boundary events along with service tasks to navigate between different stages. So yeah, this is just one example of like how it can be modeled. There are so many different variations possible, and also like the capabilities of Camunda and BPMN together are like much beyond this one example.
Sure. Great. Okay, this seems like quite an effort, and I'm quite curious to understand what were the efforts that were required. What was the kind of team that built all of this? Can you give us some insights into that?
Yeah, okay. Like on how we have deployed or like how we are using Camunda, right? We are using only two components from Camunda platform, ZB, the workflow engine. We have deployed ZB in our private cloud, and we are using the desktop modeler to define our workflows and then feed it into ZB. So we have built workflows around us, and the specification, the workflow specification itself is source control. We have checks in place around that. And this workflow engine itself, it interfaces with our internal services that powers our application journey, and also it interfaces with our internal dashboards also. So wherever there are interactions or like actions from internal team members are required, this is how it is done via the internal dashboards we have built. And also these dashboards give us visibility into like all the applications going through. Overall visibility is obtained with this. Coming to like how we pull this off. It was a very small team, I must say. Like with a very small team, we were able to do this in like I think 3 months time.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Okay, yeah, so definitely we all have like seen this in various forums, and we heard great things, right? So definitely want to understand like what's the current state of things and how is actually impacting the business. Are you able to see like a huge productivity increase? Are you able to like meet the business goals that you actually aim for in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. So I must say, one, it has greatly improved the productivity of our internal teams. So we are now able to, I guess, process at least like 10 times more applications compared to before.
Okay.
Yeah, and turnaround times between like different stages of the application journey also have reduced greatly. And because this is primarily because like we now have visibility into our workflows. Like we can understand like what are the bottlenecks, what are the inefficiencies, and we are able to act on them on a regular basis.
Okay.
And also because it is quite elegant and simple to define your workflows, like the specifications, like you write it in BPMN format. So because of that, we are now able to like make modifications to our workflows, have variations, or even launch products like much easily, and I mean in a agile manner as well.
Sure.
And this used to take previously weeks, like where there was no solution like this. Now it is taking like a matter of few days only.
Wow.
And to add like this has increased our confidence in our workflows and then the system we have in place.
Great. It must be a joy for your product managers to like give you new requirements now that you're so agile.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sujan. This was a great session. Very insightful. Very happy to know that we are able to take a engineering first approach to launching new businesses. Yeah. All the best.
Yeah. Thank you.